Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to do the poem The Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. Before beginning a line by line explanation of the poem, I would like to tell you something about the poem. William Wordsworth is one of the most popular of the Romantic poets, and this poem, The Solitary Reaper, is one of his most popular lyrical poems and is a fine piece of ballad written in 1805 and published in 1807. It is believed to be a poem inspired by Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy's stay at the village of Strathyre in the parish of Balquhidder in Scotland in September 1803. Though many readers feel that the poem is autobiographical and based on the poet's real experience while traveling in the Scottish Highlands area, there is no confirmation on that. The poem, made up of 4 octaves, which is an 8-line stanza, follows a rhyme scheme of ABAB, CCDD, with a variation in the first and fourth stanzas. Iambic tetrameter lines run throughout the poem. An iamb is an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. Tetrameter means a 4 feet in a line. For example, behold her single in the field. The visual and auditory images, the comparisons drawn from nature, the rhythmic quality, and the fluent language of the verse make the solitary reaper a real beauty. Let me read the first 4 lines of the poem and then go on to explain them. Behold her single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself, stop here or gently pass. The poet, while traveling in the highland valleys, comes across a lonely Highlander, reaper girl, who is harvesting the crops and singing by herself. He tries to draw the attention of the passers-by to the girl by calling them to behold her. The poet urges them to stop there and listen to her song, or pass by gently without disturbing her in her singing. Let's move on to the next 4 lines of the poem. Alone she cuts and binds the grain and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. The solitary reaper girl is cutting and binding the grain while singing a sad song. The poet again urges the other travelers to listen to her music as it is overflowing the deep valley. Moving on to the next few lines of the poem. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands of travelers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. Now, the poet compares the reaper girl's song with that of the sweet singing nightingale bird. The melodious note of a nightingale sounds sweet and welcoming to a tired group of travelers in some shady shelter in the middle of the Arabian desert. But the song of the Highland girl is sweeter than that of the nightingale. Moving on. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides. Now, the comparison shifts to the cuckoo, another well-known songbird. The cuckoo bird, in springtime, breaks the silence of the seas in the far-off Hebrides Islands. But, according to the poet, the song of the solitary reaper is more thrilling than that of the cuckoo. Moving on to the next few lines of the poem. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far off things and battles long ago. The poet doesn't comprehend the meaning of the song or its subject matter, as the girl is probably singing in her native Gaelic language. So he asks the other travelers there if anyone can throw some light on what she sings. From its tone, he guesses it to be a mournful song, plaintive numbers. As you would have noticed the poem, plaintive numbers means mournful, sad songs about some old, unhappy things and past battles. She probably remembers about some old unhappy things or past battles, and the poet wants to know what is the theme of her song, what she is exactly singing, because he is not able to understand her language. Because she is singing in her own native language, but the tune, the melody of the song is so enticing, so enchanting that the poet stops and listens to her song and understands that it is a plaintive number, though he doesn't understand her language. Moving on, or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today? Some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be again? Wordsworth again guesses that the song might be about some more usual happenings like some natural sorrow, loss, or pain, or death, or domestic day to day incident which has occurred or may happen in the singer's life. She is a young girl and singing in a very beautiful, melodious voice, and probably she remembers her past, some loss, some sorrow, some pain or death, which she has experienced in her life, and that might be the theme of her poem, of her song. The poet continues to say, whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. In this stanza of the poems, The Solitary Reaper, Wordsworth talks about the impact the reaper's song left upon his mind. No matter what the theme was, whether she was singing of her personal sorrow, pain, loss, or she was remembering some personal experience of her life, the maiden girl was singing like there was no stopping. The song was echoing through the valleys of the Scottish Highlands, and the poet is almost mesmerized, enticed by the song, and he is not able to move on. Our poet saw her singing at her work, bending over the scythe, the sickle with which usually you can see the grass is cut in the fields, a semicircular kind of an instrument used to cut crops. The flow of her music was so impressive that it seemed to be never ending. I listened motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. The poet listened to the girl's song, stopped on his way, and stood still, very much charmed by the girl's beautiful song. When the poet was climbing up the hill, the song could no longer be heard from there, but he bore the music, the melody of the Solitary Reaper's song in his heart. Such was the impression, the lasting impression of the song upon his mind, and he is not able to get over the beauty, the melody of the song, and continues to enjoy it. And we can say, if we quote Keats here, that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. And this song, the Solitary Reaper song, is a thing of beauty which is going to be a joy forever for the poet and for the readers as well. I hope you enjoyed the poem too, students. Thank you. See you in the next video.